The third highest attendance in English football on Saturday was at Portman Road. Top, the dull, pointless England football friendly at Wembley. England football friendly, the three most boring words in sport. Second, Man City, Man United women at the Etihad. Big day, big game. Third, 10,000 plus at Portman Road. Now, I tried to verify this yesterday. I haven't got all the attendance figures, unfortunately, for League Two, but it seems to be fairly widely reported. And if that's true, and indeed I think it is, what a statement and what a display of support for the women's side.
Yeah, I had a little look through League One and League Two, and you could probably say it's helped by some of the teams that might be getting around 20,000 playing away, but it shouldn't at all distract from the number that was there. It was absolutely remarkable. It's a record, obviously, for the women's team and a record for the league, which I think is really, really special, even taking aside the fact it was the third highest of the day, regardless of the league and regardless of the gender. And obviously so much of that goes towards wanting to support the women's team, but I think the club deserves a lot of credit as well for the way that they built up to this, in terms of the fact that they did everything they possibly could to replicate a men's match day, which I thought was what stood out to me. They put on press conferences, obviously. They did a lot of videos on Town TV that we've seen. They've spoken to us. We've had players and stuff like that on the podcasts, and it then transferred onto the day as well. Fan zone open, really busy, I thought, especially considering that I was getting in around half an hour after it opened. They had the Manchester Derby on the TV, and I was thinking, this is, at this time, it's actually busier than a lot of what I've seen from the men's games in terms of the fan zone. And then from there, everything else as well, the way that they warmed up, it was the same music that the men warm up to. They walked out to Insomnia. They had the coach welcome coming in. It was just making sure that it was near enough to a carbon copy, equal treatment, and it gave it the same kind of feel, even though it was essentially a dead rubber football match, as Joe Sheehan said after the game. The fact that so many people have come for a game that is probably not going to mean a great deal in our season is really special.
If there was one person I wanted to see play a leading role on the day, it was obviously the legendary striker Natasha Thomas, a proper club legend. And she duly scored the first goal. It couldn't be more fitting.
Yeah, I think that was probably the ideal candidate to score the first ever league goal at Portman Road. She has scored at Portman Road before in the County Cup back in 2019, I think that was, or 2018. She's had that feeling of scoring at the stadium before, but this is very much different occasion because of the crowd. It's a league game, points are on the board. Obviously, it was a bit of a dead rubber game, but the occasion, and it wasn't a bad strike either. I love goals like that where it hits the post and in. And obviously, we said beforehand to all the girls, you got to celebrate. You can't just go into the middle of the pitch and hug. That's what normally happens, unfortunately, at the AGR Arena. There's a few celebrations here and there, but we went, you got to proper celebrate because you got to entertain the crowd, and that's what they did. They go and celebrate with the crowd, and yeah, what a moment for Natasha Thomas. She's known for scoring. That was I think, because she scored another goal later in the game. Obviously, I think now she's got 148 goals in 204 games, so not bad at all. So she's getting close to that 150 mark, which I'm sure she's going to hit at some point in the final few games of the season. But yeah, what a moment, and perfect player to score to make it 1-0.
Yeah, she is absolutely prolific, isn't it? I think probably if you ask most people who maybe don't follow the women's game that closely, I think most people would still know who Natasha Thomas was. So great to see her get on the score sheet